Now, we've been talking about housing today. The government has a target to build more than 1 million new homes across the UK. Local councils will have to find a way of getting them built. But what is the impact of that on the residents who live in places where there are new developments? BBC Radio Surrey's political reporter Jack Veen has been to one area which is really feeling the pressure.
If you drive along the A331 at the moment, you may well see these signs on one of the road bridges which say, "No more new homes in Tongham." These have been put up by the parish council, and they're also up in the centre of the village as well, and they show the strength of feeling when it comes to the idea of more development in this area. This latest application is for up to 420 homes near the Hogsback Brewery on some land which is at Manor Farm. According to the application for outline planning permission, which has been submitted to Guildford Borough Council, around 40% of the new homes would be affordable, and there would also be 2 new vehicle entrances at Poyle Road and the street. The development would also include green space and new walking and cycling routes. But for many people in the area, it's the thin end of the wedge.
Far too many already. We've got flooding in the village we've never had before. Everywhere is just a nightmare. Traffic is abominable. I live on Manor Road and it's absolutely fallen to pieces with all the heavy traffic that's been going up and down. And there's no end to it in sight. It's just one big construction after another. 150 here, 200 there, another 300 there. It's just going on and on and on. It's a nightmare. You know, I used to walk across fields when I've been here 25 years. It's all gone. Yeah. It's all houses. You know, where are we supposed to go? It's just ridiculous.
You were saying that people are generally against it.
Yes, they are, yes. It's because it will cause more congestion in the village, and there's a small section where you got past the Hogsback and it's always gridlocked. It will just get more and more worse, and obviously environmentally friendly. They take away all the fields, all the animals and everything all suffer.
And you've had quite a lot of building in Ash and Tongham over the last few years, haven't you, as well?
Yes, we have, yeah. We've had loads, so it causes quite a lot of things, so yeah.
Ed Hall is a parish councillor in Tongham.
It's a changing, effectively, of what was a rural village, and really without consultation trying to turn it into something far more urban, without really having any consideration as to what that means, especially when you've got infrastructure that, as with many places in the UK, is Victorian. It means that actually the quality of life of those who live in Tongham, in Ash, in various places, get eroded. And it came to a point where we just felt that enough was enough.
Of course, this is one of many, many planning applications for new homes which are being submitted across Surrey at the moment. What is going on in the background is that Labour ministers have a target for 1.5 million new properties by the end of the current Parliament, as they try to tackle what they've described as a housing crisis, with a shortage of homes, particularly affordable ones. But whether it's areas like Tongham, where there's already pressure from new builds, or other places which, for example, are in the protected greenbelt parts of the countryside in Surrey, it's an issue which continues to cause fierce debate.
It's Jack Veen reporting there. Going to bring in John Tonks, who's a parish councillor in Ash, which is near Tongham. Morning to you, John.
Hello, good morning.
This isn't a development in your village, but I understand you're worried.
Absolutely. Obviously, we are right next door to Tongham. And obviously, Tongham is, as you discussed, a small rural area. It has one school, a single form entry infant school. And so, obviously, for my concern, I'm concerned about the impact of all this development on our infrastructure. Obviously, these people are going to have to drive into the next village to find a school, find a chemist, find a doctor. And so these things play into the wider picture. And so we as local residents are constantly getting new applications for housing development in Ash. Next door in Normandy, and also now in Tongham as well. So, we're being hit by all sides.
Interesting. This story probably is the same in so many parts, of this area, but also across the country, given the way the government is actually talking about building new homes and the fact that they've already built in your area. It does suggest that there is just going to be more.
That's certainly true. I know certainly in Ash, there's over 300 houses still to be planned and built. But, we see the applications coming in. As far as we can see, this area isn't green belt. It isn't protected. in the same way that other areas in Guildford are. So you can see that applications are just going to keep on coming in.
And as far as like the developers are concerned, if they were to put in schools and doctors and all of that, do you think everyone would locally shut up, or they'd just find another thing they're not happy with?
Well, I think it's not about obviously hating all development, and equally, I do think it is about understanding when a particular community has been asked to shoulder too much. And I certainly think like Tongham and Ash, they have had their fair share of development. And in part of that, it's just the speed. In 5 years, we've had hundreds of new homes in our area built, and obviously that speed of change has completely changed the shape and character of our villages. But I do agree that if development does have to come, and obviously when my kids grow up, I do want them to live near me. There must be some net gain from that, and I think people have yet to see any gain from the existing development. They haven't seen the improvements in infrastructure. They're seeing new issues with flooding as a result of development. And so this raises alarm and concern when you see yet more development coming, and you think, well, what's that going to do to our local rivers? Where's that extra water going to go?
Interesting talking to you. Appreciate you coming on, John. BBC Radio Surrey did approach Taylor Wimpey about this development in Tongham, and they said they weren't able to put a spokesperson forward, but in a statement they have said there will be a mix of new homes for families of all sizes, including 40% affordable housing designed around green spaces. They say the plans have been designed to help address existing flooding issues in the village by creating a surface water management system within the site. They also say there will be a link road through the development to help distribute traffic more evenly and ease congestion in the centre of Tongham. You can read more on this story across the day as well. bbc.co.uk/Surrey is the where you can find our news stories, or if you're on the BBC News app, just scroll down for them. And if you're a viewer of the BBC South East Today programme, if that's your local news in the evening, this evening they're going to be taking a closer look at life in temporary accommodation and the pressures facing councils to build enough new homes. Sarah Gorrell's going to pick up the mantle on this, asking if your children have stayed at home after leaving school or university because it's too expensive to leave. It's all part of our focus on housing today. And she's also going to get a special sound advice later on what the new changes to rules around ground rent will mean for you. It's BBC Radio Surrey, 8:17. We're going to talk movies shortly. Also before 9, these songs.